Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We've all seen the movies, right? The ones where incredible evolutionary leaps happen right on screen, giving completely ordinary people these absolutely extraordinary abilities. But what if the foundation for those leaps is actually already happening? In real life, today, we're cracking open the cinematic world of mutants to reveal the absolute wildest, most awe-inspiring real science behind it. I mean, think about it. What if evolution simply didn't stop? It is so easy to think of human evolution as this finished project, like it's some ancient chapter closed thousands of years ago. But what if the next human species is literally already walking among us right now? And here's the crazy part. This isn't just science fiction. This is biology's absolute favorite what if. Because those seemingly impossible superpowers that make for, great summer blockbusters, they are actually deeply rooted in biological realities happening right here on Earth today.
Section 1. The real X gene, or fiction's biggest what if. So in fiction, a single hidden X gene suddenly activates during puberty to give teenagers the ability to, say, control the weather or heal instantly. Well, in reality, mutations happen much the same way, totally spontaneous. Take the real-life MC1R gene, for example. A tiny mutation here gives people red hair and an extreme sensitivity to the sun. And honestly, it gets even wilder. There is an actual single gene mutation out there right now that causes people to feel absolutely zero physical pain. Ever. No way, right? But it's true. 3 billion. Think of human DNA like this gigantic instruction manual made up of 3 billion individual letters. If you change just one single letter in that massive book, you might get superhuman muscle density. Or, you might get a mutation that does absolutely nothing at all. So if real mutations are usually this incredibly small, how does fiction turn that into, say, wings or metal claws? Let's look at Section 2, Extreme Biological Mutations, Wolverine and Mystique in Nature. Okay, so Wolverine can survive almost anything, right? He heals instantly, barely ages, while meet nature's equivalent, the axolotl. It's a real salamander that can regrow severed limbs, its spinal cord, and even parts of its brain with zero scarring. It's basically a real-world healing factor. Or take the immortal jellyfish, which literally reverses its own aging process to just start life over from scratch. And what about Mystique's incredible shape-shifting? Look no further than the mimic octopus. This thing can imitate the appearance and even the movement of over 15 different venomous sea creatures entirely on the fly. Literally, imagine your skin as a touchscreen, redesigning its wallpaper in seconds. Real creatures like chameleons don't just blend in to hide. They actively use color to communicate their emotions and intentions. Imagine being able to rewrite your own biological wallpaper in real time. It's like having a superpower built right into your cells. Moving on to Section 3, Mastering Forces and Minds, Telepathy, Weather, and Magnetism. 1 billion volts. That is the sheer amount of energy carried by a single bolt of lightning. I mean, that's enough to power an entire house for a month. When a character like Storm commands the weather, she is essentially compressing an entire weather system into one human body. But actually manipulating the sky isn't entirely fiction. Scientists already experiment with cloud seeding, using planes to release particles that trigger rainfall. It's a real tactic that was even used during the 2008 Beijing Olympics to keep the skies clear.
And then there's Magneto. His whole ability to bend metal relies on electromagnetism, which is a very real, fundamental force of our universe. I mean, real MRI machines use magnets powerful enough to rip a heavy wrench right across the room. And the strongest magnets ever built by scientists at CERN, they are over 100,000 times stronger than Earth's own magnetic field. To put that into perspective, imagine Earth as just a giant magnet. And Magneto is simply a human compass needle that somehow has the power to throw actual submarines. And what about Professor X reading minds across the globe? Honestly, it sounds like pure magic, but brainwave transcription is so much closer to reality than we think. In 2023, researchers successfully used AI combined with fMRI and EEG brain scans to basically transcribe the gist of human thoughts. They actually translated active brain signals directly into text. Just imagine your brain as a radio station. Right now, we're just picking up the static, but science is slowly, surely learning exactly how to tune in. Which brings us to Section 4,
hunting and tracking mutants, sentinels, and genetic screening.
In the cinematic myth, a giant machine like Cerebro scans minds all across the planet to detect mutants. But in reality, we already use genetic screening to scan DNA and predict traits before symptoms even appear. And it gets more intense. Back in 2018, a scientist actually used CRISPR technology to alter the DNA of human embryos. Editing the genetic code of living humans sparked immense global ethical outrage and is now largely banned. But it just goes to show, tracking and editing genetics isn't just sci-fi anymore. It's literally our current scientific frontier. And that fear of the mutant threat totally extends into the machines we build. Just like the terrifying Sentinel robots in the movies, we are currently in the midst of a very real AI arms race. We've rapidly evolved from early drone tech to actual UN summits debating the ethics of killer robots, leading up to a genuinely chilling moment in 2020 where a drone in Libya reportedly attacked human targets completely autonomously. It's like humanity's deep-seated fear has been weaponized.
Section 5. The psychology of fear, or the real us versus them. If we strip away the flashy superpowers and the killer robots, we arrive at just ordinary human psychology. Take the famous 1971 Robbers Cave experiment. Researchers took boys at a summer camp with absolutely zero prior conflict and basically followed 3 steps. Divide them into groups, introduce some competition, and watch the hostility erupt. It's a perfect illustration of the in-group versus out-group instinct. And that is the exact psychological trigger that fuels the hostility of something like a Mutant Registration Act in the stories. The fear of the other is just deeply, deeply wired into us. But despite all that fear, humanity just keeps changing. 7,500. That's how many years ago humans evolved the ability to actually drink milk. Lactose tolerance is a surprisingly recent genetic mutation that just happened to help our ancestors survive. So human evolution is actively happening right now. We are measurably different today than we were just 10 millennia ago.
I love this quote. Imagine evolution as a slow-moving river. We're just standing in the middle of it, thinking the water is still. With all the massive pressures of modern technology, AI, and constant changes in our environment, we are actively writing new evolutionary instructions into our DNA right now as we speak. That river, it's flowing faster than ever. At the end of the day, the real mutation is empathy. Because these stories aren't just about cool superpowers, you know? They're about difference. Every single human being alive today is the result of millions of years of successful compounding mutations. You listening to this, you are literally a descendant of mutants. The real question these massive blockbusters are asking us is, what do we do when we meet people who are different from us? So, if evolution never stopped and that river is definitely still flowing, what exactly is it shaping us into next? Just look at the world around you and ask yourself what the next great biological leap is going to be.